What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mickey Truth, aka the Queen of Paperwork, man. We are back at it, night number 3. Hey, night number 3. How long will we be on live tonight? I don't know. But we here nevertheless, and we gonna get into it, man. We got a couple hot topics or hot stories that we're definitely gonna talk about. We're gonna get into the YNW Melly trial day 3. I mean, we definitely got some stuff to get to, okay? So before we get into all that, y'all already know what we got to take it to, and that is over to hookah. What it do?
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Hookah Anonymous, and you are now rocking with Mickey Truth. She live up to her name, not the fame. So make sure y'all subscribe to her channel and stay updated on what's real. Bye.
Coming from where I come from, they doubted me, but I came up. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. Coming from where I come from, they doubted me, but I came up. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world.
Good reporting ass Mickey.
We love you, Mickey.
We love you, Mickey. What it do, y'all, man? I hope y'all had a good day today, man. I definitely had a good day. It kind of went past kind of fast. I ain't gonna lie. I went and got me some shrimp tacos from Hooters, and those were busting. Shout out to Prince Nero. I see you. Okay, I appreciate the donation. All right, y'all already know all donations are welcome. Y'all can hit my cash app, Mickey True 2022, or hit me with the super chats or whatever your heart desires. Okay, shout out to True Big Cotton. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I need everybody to like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend to pull up. We are live, okay? Now, voice box, what it do? I just dropped this short, but I did it in a rush because, like, literally, I got on Clubhouse and Whack 100 gave us the details, and I'm like, oh snap! Let me hurry put something together. But I'm about to pull it up real quick. So if you have not had the chance to look at my short, well, I'm here to tell you, Blueface has been arrested again. Okay? Yes. Blueface has been arrested again. This time it's not for a new charge. However, he got arrested for violating his bail when he got arrested last week, right? For the new robbery charge. So they revoked his bail. He is currently remanded. Per WAT 100, he is on his way back to the U.S. because he's been out of town. And once he touched down, he is said to be getting him out. So, hey, as of right now, Blueface, you got to sit there until Wet get there to come get you. But that I just hope he stay out of trouble because he's already facing an attempted murder and discharging a firearm. Those are some pretty hefty charges for sure. Now I know y'all gonna ask me, what about Boosie? Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, as of this moment, and I'm actually pulling it up. Give me a minute, because I thought I had the screen together. I'm pulling up. He's not in the system, and when I say he's not in the system, no documents are available, right? So I can't really tell you much more than what TMZ said. But I can show you, like I have been looking. Let's see. Let's put this over. Shout out to all my mods that's pulling up. All right. I'm just about to refresh it real quick because y'all see I done looked it up. Yeah, no new cases. Now, I'm assuming it's a Fed case because the information that was provided by TMZ. However, I can't without a doubt say that's what's going on, but that's what they're reporting. So that's why I'm looking in Pacer. But as soon as I know more about it, guess what? Truth Team, you will know more about it. So let me do the Blueface one real quick. Show y'all what I got on that one, and then we can get into the Melly situation. All right, like y'all can see, this is the case file from the state of Nevada versus Jonathan Porter, and it shows the charges, right? If you look down, like I said, I got a full video of the original charge if you want to go take a look at it. However, look at the notes right here, right? If you look about June 7th, right? It shows that the defendant was remanded into custody this morning while entering the courthouse on a new case, right? Then it says issue the bench warrant and revoke bail. Then it said denied as to issuing a bench warrant. Then it says state to file a motion to revoke bail. So technically, they were trying to revoke his bail the day that he got locked up for the new charge. Okay, what it do? All welcome. However, they had to file a motion, which they did. Right, they filed the motion on June 8th. The court approved it. Right. As far as hold on, I might be skipping the gun. They filed it on the 8th. Okay, then the defense, so Blueface's attorney or legal team filed a motion in response saying, no, 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 no. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I want to do. But the judge, however, decided to agree with the state and revoke the bail. And as y'all can see, that was officially done today. And it said state revoke defendant's release and remand into custody without bail. All right. Now, objection was submitted by the defense, right? And it was granted. And I believe that is where we're seeing this electronic monitoring, right? High level. According to WAC, he is on the way. Well, he's going to be landing in a couple hours, right? And he will be getting Blueface out. So I think he probably just has to be on like some type of maybe, I don't want to say house arrest, but definitely electronic monitoring. Okay. So yes, that's that. Not much more to see on that one. All right. How everybody doing, man? Good day today. Good day. Yes. Shout out to Prince. Is it Nasir? Hold on, okay. Y'all know I saw the name. Yeah, no, Prince Nairo. My bad, Prince. For hey, I appreciate it. All donations are welcome. Hit the cash app. Y'all know YouTube definitely take their cut. But I take super chats and all that. I appreciate y'all for sure. All right. What's up, Trap Society? You knew I haven't seen you before. How you doing? All right, y'all. Let me see. Let me see. So let me tell y'all why I'm pulling up the videos for the Melly case for today. Y'all, I've been talking about Melly since I got off live last night, okay? When I got off this live, I got on Clubhouse, right? Because I was trying to wind down. It'd be so hard to wind down when I get off live for some reason, okay? So I got on Clubhouse and we got to talking again about the whole case, right? And then after I got off Clubhouse, I went over to Music 101. Shout out to Music 101. And we got to talking. So before I knew it, it was light outside. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning, okay? And I had to work and I had to do the morning show. So I'm just here, okay? So eventually I'm gonna crash. But right now I'm feeling good, okay? Okay. Definitely. You already know 100 side of the Clubhouse. Catch me there all the time. I be in and out, moving around. Yo, Prince, you ready? You ready? You ready? You got your jewelry pendant on? Truth team, y'all ready? I'm sitting here looking around for my pen. Y'all know last night I kept having pen issues. I did this. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get my notes and stuff together first. So give me a second. Dang, I thought I had paper in here. All right, we are on. Hold on, I'm gonna wait till I get my where my drink at. God dang it! All right, y'all, give me a second. Let me play something. Let me play something because I got to walk in my car. I left my drink in my car. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so we didn't actually listen to this yesterday. But they reposted it. Yeah, so it was out yesterday too. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this one because I need to walk off and go to my car. and then I shall
Resurrection, boy.
report,
Restore the kingdom.
and then we can talk about it. So y'all make sure y'all take y'all notes. We back at it. All information contained in this live is for entertainment, educational purposes only. All information used in this live is per the Fair Use Act. And any conclusion that you draw is on you, not me. I wish I could sing. But all right, here we go.
Is innocent. His defense attorneys are saying the state can't prove its case. But it's my understanding you believed from the very beginning that Melly was responsible for your son's death and the death of Anthony.
From the day one, I believe that Melly was responsible for my son's death on October 26th when I first heard the story, because his explanation, when I finally talked to him in Cortland on a FaceTime, their response and how they was reacting, they showed no remorse. They didn't act like they was grieving, like they lost a best friend or nothing. They was, in my opinion, they was in the best spirits. They never came to town, never came to my son's funeral, never came to Sack's funeral. And these are your best friends. He passed straight through the county of Indian River, went to Brevard and did a music video, but he couldn't even stop and pay his condolences to his best friend's mom. He even got Jana tatted on his neck. That's why his defense attorney got him wearing turtlenecks and shirts to hide his neck, because he got the Jana tatted on his neck. That's Sack's mom's name, and he got Chris' name and Sack's name. This guy, that guy is just, I have no words for that guy.
What was it in particular that was said on that FaceTime that made you think that Melly was responsible?
Nothing was said. Actually, it was like the demeanor. It was like the body language, really. Like I was just reading them, and as I'm telling them and asking them questions, I got so emotional, I started crying. They wasn't reacting to, they act like they didn't have to take a loss at all. That's how I took it. And then when I was talking to them, I still had in the back of my mind that something's not right. Something's not right.
Did they tell you anything about what they claimed happened with the drive-by they claim happened?
No, they had absolutely no explanation. Like, we have to figure it out just like the police.
Chris, why do you think that this happened? Why do you think, Melly did this? Because, Melly is on trial. The state has to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt that he committed these crimes. But why do you think this happened?
I think the story about the $200,000 with Anthony was a true story because it's not reported, but Chris told me the same story. And also,
Hold up. Whoa. This is that. What he mean? The same story. Wouldn't he know about it? Or am I tripping? What he mean? I'm kind of like, interesting. So it seems like he wasn't in a know like that. Okay. We're going to keep going.
So it was a $500,000 play, and Melly was going to get $200,000. Sack was going to get $200,000. Chris was going to get $100,000. And as I'm hearing it from Chris, they was going to sell the YNW brand, not a record deal or nothing like that. It was like for the brand itself. And by them being founding members, they was going to get a piece of the pie. So I don't think Melly did it on his own. I think that manager guy got in his ear and did a little divide and conquer. Because if it was up to Sack, it would never be $100K management.
They were going to sell the YNW name for licensing or to sell products? Or what do you mean they were going to sell the name?
For marketing, licensing, stuff like that. I think they want to go up on the big umbrella just to push them, I think. Push the brand more global. That's what I'm thinking.
And so you think that Melly wanted a bigger cut of that then?
I think Melly didn't want to give them guys nothing. He wanted to be the only one to shine. And then they came to town next day and gave the mothers $15,000, the other mother $10,000. So I thought to myself, if Sack was going to get $200,000, Chris was getting $100,000. If we could pay these people $25,000 and keep $275,000, that's how I saw it. It just nothing added up. Melly still to this day for me to hear him call them boys his best friend is an insult. That is an insult.
Was there any sign of bad blood before your son's life was taken and before Anthony was killed? Or was there any tension there that you knew of?
not with Juvie, not with Chris, but you heard things about him and Anthony getting into like altercations about uh, disputes about money over certain situations, and they got in a fight prior to that, and they said like the story that they say Sack beat him up and knocked his goals out in front of his girlfriend, and like 2 days later, I think that's when the incident happened.
Chris, I know that something that has to be really hard about this is the fact that there are relatives here, relatives of Cortland Henry, who are also relatives of the victims.
Yes. Chris and Cortland share a sister, and she's my daughter. Her and Chris had the same dad, which is me, and her and Cortland share the same mom. And she took the side of Melly. She still to this day screams free Melly all on her Facebook, Instagram.
Oh, did y'all know that? Oh, shoot. That is something. Dang.
She'll go live with the free Melly shirts, and they just got her brainwashed with the money. They just showered her with gifts and Portland, and got my daughter just brainwashed to the fact that she wishing the killer of her brother was free. I just don't understand that. That's a heartbreaking feeling, man.
Let's find your birth mother. Will you come with me?
That's something. Now, that's something that I did not know. Wow. Wow. I don't even know. I'm eating candy, y'all.
That daily, her saying that's just heartbreaking.
Do you talk to your daughter about this?
We haven't talked. She was living with me up until the time shortly after the funerals, and then we went our separate ways. I haven't talked to her in over 2 years.
So it sounds like you've lost 2 children.
Yes, ma'am. And them the 2 that look like me the most, and it's crazy.
Are you hoping that this trial, maybe at the end, things can change with your daughter?
Yeah, once she see the truth and them boys get convicted, I'm hoping that her whole demeanor change. But knowing them, they're gonna be like, "Wait till the appeal. He's still innocent. Wait till the appeal." But just have to wait and see, man. It's gonna be a process.
I feel like so often you get into the evidence and really the victims get lost in these trials. Just any final words about your son?
It's always forever long live Juvie. I miss him and love him to death. He got a lot of Melly fans that be spamming my inbox and all over. Even y'all guys chat talking about free Melly. But one of their loved ones was to get murdered. And imagine the whole world saying free the alleged killer of that guy. It just make you feel some type of way and just want to crash out yourself because I don't know. They trying to make it seem like Chris and Sack was extorting Melly, which is a false narrative that his camp painted. That was never true. And Chris never did nothing to nobody. They can't even say nothing he did to Melly. Nothing that they can't show anything that made him want to do anything to Chris. And that's what got me the way I'm feeling because Chris never did anything, and he loved that dude. And that dude did that to him. I never accept that. And to everybody that's on his side is on the opposite side of me.
If he's convicted, would you like him to get the death penalty? Because he's the first person to go, have the death penalty as a potential punishment since the law change lowered the threshold for it.
Yes, eye for an eye. Old Testament.
Y'all, for one, I didn't realize that they was all intertwined like that. For two, let me. I hate to do it like this, but I mean, we just gonna have to call it for what it is. Listening to what, originally I thought that was Tech Chaser's dad, but listening to what YNW Juvie's dad was saying, who is speaking from like kind of like he was told information, right, allegedly by his son, but then he's like, well, I think it's like, to me it wasn't like he was talking from like without a doubt firsthand knowledge, right? But then at the same time, when he started saying like false narratives, like that's not true. Like that was put out by Melly's count. How, I'm kind of like, how can you not really know the business on one point, but for sure, like those was false narratives. I don't know. It could just be me. You know what I'm saying? Could just be how I'm thinking about it. I just thought, to be kind of like on the I ain't really sure, but I think it's this, and then to say without a doubt something is a false narrative. Mm-hmm. Mm. All right, let's see what we're gonna go with here. So I wonder, do I want to do it that way, or do I just want to? We'll just do it this way. Do I? Don't I? I don't know. All right, let's do this.
Thank you for coming back to the Law and Crime Network. My name is Linda Kenny Bodden. Well, we are covering the trial of YNW Melly. Did he murder, kill his two friends, YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie? The prosecution is trying to prove the case through the admission of forensic evidence dealing with a firearm that they don't have.
Else.
But let's go into.
Is this? Hold on, what is this? Okay. See, I was about to move too fast. Sorry.
And listen to their firearms examiner. He's been on the stand for a while. His name is George Bello.
There's really no way to rule any of those out. So this is just a list of major manufacturers that reports.
What is Melly doing? Are you serious? Did y'all see him bopping in his head and stuff?
So approximately how many firearms were listed out in this case?
I have to look at the.
Can you refresh your recollection? Please feel free to do so. Slow cut when you've done so.
So as far as manufacturers that could have fired the projectiles in 40 Smith & Wesson, there's about 15 different major manufacturers. I also ran again with, there was 2 submissions to me in the case. Okay. So there was an initial submission that contained 3 projectiles, and then there was an initial secondary submission which contained projectiles from the medical examiner's office. And based on the characteristics of the second submission, there was, I think, an even larger number. About 27 manufacturers that could have fired that set.
Okay. Can you just pick number
I'm gonna need for him to stop making all the facial expressions.
No, I can't do that for a variety of reasons. First and foremost being that these lists are telling me the manufacturers, right? It's not telling me the make and model. So it's giving me the make. So it's saying, possibly 6 Hour, possibly Sig Arms, but which one of their pistols in 40? It doesn't tell me that. And so the list can be very, very lengthy. It also won't tell me the barrel length of the particular firearm.
I'm going to ask you about a very specific firearm.
Mm-hmm.
Could you use a Taurus 91?
No.
Why not?
The Taurus 91 doesn't exist.
Should I ask you about horsepower on that?
You could, I guess, but there is no Taurus. So Taurus manufactures a line of firearms which they bought the patent from Beretta manufacturer. Beretta makes what they call Beretta 92, Beretta 92 FS. And so
I wonder if she asked that just to see if he like to prove what he's talking about.
PT 99. So those are the 2 variants of that particular pistol. There really isn't, and the 9 designates the 9mm caliber. So PT92.
Y'all let me know.
A 9mm variants of that Beretta replicant that they have.
Okay, and that's actually the red gun in front of you. Is it a PT92 replica?
Correct. So this is exactly what you would see if you saw a Beretta or a Taurus, whether it's a 92 or PT92. They look the same. If I held it from over here and I had a Beretta or a Taurus, you wouldn't know the difference between one and the other.
Okay. And that was which caliber for the 92?
So the 92 is a 9mm firearm.
Okay. Yeah. Is there a 40 caliber that may be closely named to that?
So Taurus does make a 40 caliber. They make it under the model name PT100, PT101.
In terms of the list of firearms that are
Okay, we are still discussing firearms examiner's testimony. George Bello, who seems to know what he is talking.
All right. Do y'all think it's strange, right, to have a firearms expert without a firearm? Oh yeah, Royale, Jules. I definitely think he's writing the song for sure.
With Nutramigen LGG, helps sleep.
Now, what will the family think? I don't know. I don't think they may not think that's what he's doing, but I think he's writing the song. And I definitely think it's gonna be a hot one for sure. How was it the same one?
Is there a benefit to taking photos in daylight? Light versus under the artificial fluorescent lights of the hospital?
It does help a little bit in daylight. Daylight you can see, of course. And but it's still in shadow, it's still dark. So that way, when it's dark as it is, I have to use the flash more to show these pictures, try to show the details of the bullet holes.
Do you label them or mark them in any way at the scene?
Say it again, sorry.
Do you label or mark the bullet holes in any way at the scene?
No.
So going forward through the photos of the...
Is this the same video from yesterday?
Yeah, this is the, I didn't go inside the vehicle, but I could take photographs from the open doors to show the interior. This is the rear passenger seat. And as you notice, there's many items, there's thick congealed blood, there's many items inside the vehicle.
Do you remember what the weather was like that morning?
That made sense, Jules.
So yeah, do
you remember what the weather was like
the
that
weather
morning?
was hot, humid, 84 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't raining, dry, humid. Early morning Friday. This is a rear trunk area.
And it's still, you're not entering the vehicle in any way, shape, or form for these photos.
Yeah, there was a bullet hole back there. This is the VIN number.
I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. What is a VIN number?
So the VIN number here is 3C4N JDDB2JT198929.
Okay. What are you documenting in this photo?
This is the driver's seat and various items inside it. This is the exterior of the driver's door. Then again, notice some marks, the damage to the vehicle in the hood, the bumper area.
As a crime scene investigator, do you respond out to run-of-the-mill car crashes?
I don't understand the question.
Do you go to hit and runs on the side of the road as a crime scene investigator?
I do hit and runs.
In terms of the documentation that you do for a crash, is that something you, as part of your training and experience that you would have been done over the past 20-some years in crime scene?
Yes, I did have experience in photographing vehicles involved.
Okay.
And of course, when you do, for example, if it's an accident vehicle, you do want to document the damage to the vehicle.
Okay.
The hood is damaged. As you can see, it's misaligned there.
Did you have any idea as to when that damage could
I
occur?
wonder, did they do
No idea
that?
how the damage occurred.
What is your job when you're doing this?
Document, collect evidence, and process evidence.
Dang, we couldn't see the front of
So
the
after
car.
you finish doing all of the exterior photos of the Jeep, what do you do next?
As I explained before.
All right, listen, y'all, right? They already said on record that this was a rental car. I know from my recollection, we cannot see the front of the car, I don't think, on that video. But just let's use our imagination, right? If that car wasn't damaged in the front, right? Before they left the studio. So meaning it was damaged, possibly after they left the studio, but before he got to the hospital, right? Could that possibly mean some type of now we don't know how the bodies were found, they haven't released it yet, but could that be possible, like a struggle or something occurred in the car, right? Maybe they kind of crashed somewhere, right? Or hit something. Possibly the person in the left back got out running away, or could it be the driver actually ducked down while driving, right, and hit something because someone else was shooting in the car? What y'all think? Let me know in the chat.
And then went to meet the driver of this vehicle.
Do you make sure that this Jeep is sealed?
What do you mean with sealed?
Do you secure the doors and other areas of the Jeep with evidence tape?
Yes. Prior to a search warrant, we will then seal out the vehicle with red evidence tape.
Moving on, there is now a photo placard A in this photo.
A is a bullet projectile, which is by the passenger side rear tire.
Is that the item in question?
This is it. Correct.
And do you know what this little gray round thing is over on this side?
That was the valve stem cap from that tire.
It definitely was red.
GoDaddy is a partner that always puts.
Definitely what the question, or like when.
In terms of this view here, why do you take multiple photos of placard A?
Right, I'm thinking that probably be some type of argument,
location,
argument.
General shot, establishing shot, and then close-ups. And the next photograph shows the
Untamed, what it do?
Up the vehicle.
Thank you for the cash app.
Evidence tape, check my initials and.
Okay, and you do that around the entire vehicle?
Yes.
Loud Pat, what it do?
How do you transport the vehicle from the hospital?
We could use a tow truck service. And when we do tow,
Dreas, I think it was great.
I documented being put onto the flatbed.
Hold on, let me.
I escorted
Dreas, I was just talking about that. I think it was red. Like, let's go back to this part.
site?
That was the file stem cap from that.
Yo, hey, Bo. Hold on, I got to pause real quick. Shout out to Bo Jangles, okay? One of the original Truth Teamers. If y'all remember, I told y'all that originally I was like, I want to do the Melly case, but I was like, the Truth Team, like, man, that's an open and shut case. Don't do it. Well, Bo is definitely one of them. Him and Marco like, don't do that case. I've been good. I hope you've been well also, you know, getting into the paperwork in this trial. Appreciate you pulling up, because it's been a long time, man. Now, Dre, see? It red. Hold on. What side was that?
This view here,
oh, that's the driver's side. It red on the driver's side.
in terms of this view here, why do you take multiple photos of placard A?
Take multiple photographs to show the location, general shelf, establishing shelf, and then close
Hey,
up.
that's what's up,
The
Bo.
next photograph shows the seal.
I'm right
sealing
behind
the
you.
vehicle.
What's up, Classic?
My initials and so on.
Okay, and you do that around the entire vehicle?
Yes.
How do you transport the vehicle from the hospital?
We could use a tow truck service. And when we do tow, so for example here, A and B, I document it being put onto the flatbed, and then I escort it to a secure facility.
Hey, Bo, you're going to have to tap in with me.
We know
I
nobody
still want to
touches the
learn.
vehicle, nobody opens the door, they don't break the seal. So we use a tow truck to take it to a secure facility.
Do you then secure it in the facility and secure that with evidence tape as well?
Correct. And we take it to the, this was a wet substation, and I seal up the doors, lock the water shutters to preserve the evidence.
Text it to me, Bo, because I
Now, you mentioned you processed an individual at the hospital.
Correct.
Who was that individual you processed?
His name was Cortland Henry.
Where was Mr. Henry being held or kept?
It's in this room. So photo shows isolation exam room 18.
Was anyone else in the room with Mr. Henry when you went in there?
There was an officer guarding him. Yes.
Is this how you found Mr. Henry when you entered? Did you explain?
So I photographed victim, a suspect. I photographed them. Sister, how do you find them? I also look to see if there's any visible injuries, any blood on the hands, for example. So I'm photographing the hands. And we photograph tattoos, any form of identification marks.
And was Mr. Henry wearing a hospital-issued identification tag or bracelet?
There's a hospital identification tag for him.
So the items over here on the floor, what are those?
These are the clothing that Cortland Henry was wearing when he came into the hospital. Now, I didn't see him wearing the clothes, but that's what the responding, the first officer told me. This is his clothes that was in the room with him. And typical hospital procedures, they take off the clothes, which is why every time we go to the hospital, they don't make it. Why? They remove the clothing. And there's two bags here. One has the footwear and the other bag has the clothing.
Okay, I want to start and show you what's in previous instructions to the defense counsel as state CCC. Do you recognize this item?
Yes, I recognize that.
How do you write that?
Keep it G, what it do?
It had my handwriting, and it has my initial date, and it does give a brief description of what it is.
What is that item?
This item is a T-shirt, black T-shirt.
Oh, it's definitely some reasonable doubt so far. I don't know though.
Written on it.
And is that item in the same or substantially same condition as when you collected it?
Yes, it does.
Was there 2 cuttings taken from that shirt and done by you at a later date?
This was collected from this shirt, yes.
Is that the shirt packaged as it was after you took
I
the
definitely
cuttings?
feel like it's a possibility.
Yes.
I ain't gonna say it's a straight shot either way
I have
though.
collected my evidence from this item.
Here at this time, the state would request to treat states triple C in as our next exhibit
No objection, Your Honor.
52.
It will be admitted.
States triple C marked states 52.
And that's Senator Kelly, if I can be so kind as to ask you to publish this shirt. There are gloves to your left, and I will grab you some scissors.
He remind me of Andy Griffin. I'm sorry. I just thought of Andy Griffin. What the world? You would think he's like recording like a
And if you could show the small logo
like
from the
how do you
t-shirt
do or
first.
something like that.
Yes, this is the front of the T-shirt.
Okay. And if you so kind as to show the back.
And this is the back of the T-shirt.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm just about the full trial because oh, I'm gonna do this one first. Y'all, so what y'all think so far? Cause I see Bo's in chat like, yo, why is we even wasting our time with this, man? Like it should, you know, it's done, right? Then I see Keep It G News like, yo, he about to walk, okay? And I'm over here like, I don't know. It can go like either way. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know. What y'all thinking though? Like, I really don't know. You know? That what I do know is I don't know. It is kind of, you know, it can go kind of either way right now. I still, that phone, like I still feel the same. And I actually haven't watched none of it until now. But I still feel like that phone is going to be a major thing to kind of, from on the defense side, got to eat at it, right? And then the whole thing with, from a jury standpoint, I'm thinking, okay, if I'm watching the trial as a juror myself, I see somebody get in this car, right? And then if they do closing arguments without me knowing where he went, right? Because you showed me a video of him getting in the car. You showed me a video where he's not in the car. I know how my mind works is I'm going to want to know where he at. You know what I'm saying? So if I don't hear that from a jury standpoint, I ain't going to feel You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna feel like reasonable doubt with that. You know what I'm saying? What's up, GTA? So it's like, Trap society, like, man, forget that, Mickey. It's over. Okay? Y'all remember that song? It's over. It's our turn now. Move over. Okay, y'all ain't gotta do me and my music like that, okay? It's okay. All right, let's do this because this one says seven critical pieces of evidence. So we're gonna do this one, and then I'm gonna just bring up the whole trial.
Terry told look.
What is that?
My computer ain't like.
What is that?
It's like my computer's actually moving.
Okay. Moving over to the right of photo marker number 5. What is that? Did you collect both of those 2 spent casings?
That is correct.
From bloody clothing to spent shell casings, we're taking a closer look at the 7 most crucial pieces of evidence in the YNW Melly double murder case and what it means for both sides. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Sierra Gillespie. So for the state of Florida, it's a case nearly 5 years in the making, with Jamel Demmons, better known as YNW Melly, now charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. His co-defendant, 22-year-old Cortland Henry, otherwise known as YNW Bortland, faces the same charges. Demmons and Henry are charged with killing their friends and co-members of their YNW collective, 19-year-old Christopher Thomas, also known as YNW Juvie, and 21-year-old Anthony Williams, who went by YNW Snack Chaser. According to prosecutors, Henry pulled up to a Miramar, Florida hospital on October 26, 2018, saying Thomas and Williams were bleeding out in his vehicle. He alleged it was a drive-by shooting, but when officials reached the vehicle, Thomas and Williams were already dead with gunshot wounds to their heads and torsos. Investigators later found surveillance video of both victims, Henry and Demmons, at a recording studio before the shooting. Detectives say blood spatter evidence and cell phone data prove all 4 were together the night of the murders. Demmons was then arrested in February 2019. Only a few days into the trial, and we're already seeing some key pieces of evidence for the state's case. Jurors have already gotten an inside look into the vehicle where Thomas and Williams were allegedly shot.
What are we looking at in here? I'm going to zoom in here to the hood area.
That is another piece of evidence taken.
Bow light, nah, it's done.
Vehicle, in the same way that we sealed the premises prior to a search warrant, the vehicle and all of its entries are sealed prior to the search warrant being executed.
So, for example, now looking at the screen down here at the bottom of the passenger side doors, that red item, is that the same evidence tape we've been looking at?
Yes, it is.
The evidence went into greater detail as jurors were shown the back seat of that vehicle. The evidence appeared to show blood stains covering the seats and the center console.
What are we looking at?
This is the rear passenger side seat as well as the rear center console, and cup holders, and partial of the rear driver's side seat.
This area in the center with the 2 Sprite cans, is that how you found it, in the down position?
Yes.
As to photo marker number 10, did you collect the 2 Sprite cans that were there?
Yes, I did.
Going on to the rear of the vehicle, photo markers 12, 13, and 14. Did you collect the various items listed in this photo?
Yes, I did.
Did you have help and assistance in processing this vehicle?
Yes, I did.
Who helped you?
Crime scene technician Tara Carroll.
Did you guys have
I agree with you.
plan of attack
Me too.
as to how to process the vehicle?
We split up the vehicle into certain sections, and each processes areas of the vehicle and collected the items that were in mission to those areas.
So it's clear to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what section were you assigned?
I was assigned to the driver's side of the vehicle.
In terms of these photographs, they were all taken by you. Is that a correct statement?
Correct.
You got appointed there, classic.
Moving on to item number 18 and 17. Did you collect those 2?
Yes, I did.
19 and 20 as shown here. Did you collect those?
Yes, I did.
But it wasn't just blood in the backseat of the vehicle presented as evidence. Prosecutors also pulled photos of the victim's clothing covered in blood and showing bullet holes.
What's item J?
Trigger warning possible. My bad, y'all. Oh, Lord.
Provided by medical staff of the deceased or from the deceased.
With regards to this next photo of item J, there is an arrow indicating a circular area. Are you able to tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury if that is or is not a distressed portion of the jacket or is some sort of bullet defect?
Based on my experience and training, it appears to be something similar to a bullet hole.
Okay. With regards to the arrows, is that where you're putting those on there?
That is correct.
Moving on to the back of item J, is that how it looked when you collected it?
That is correct.
Based on your training and experience as a crime scene investigator, does the appearance of blood change over time as it's stored in evidence?
That is correct.
That's still the same jacket that we have in evidence?
That is correct.
Aside from the gruesome, bloody photos displayed to the jury, the state also called witnesses to testify about the alleged location of the shooting. Here's Morgan Curry describing what was seen in those photos.
So y'all gonna act like it's me.
McCain quick cook fries.
I was not prepared for that one. And I was eating.
Go back to item number 1, back on the south side. Can you describe what we're looking at in this photo here with photo marker number 1?
Yes. The shell casing, spent casing, that's it.
Okay. That's that particular item?
That is correct.
Was this item collected?
Yes, it was.
Why do you take multiple photographs from different angles of these items?
Just to get an overall depiction of the specific item and then also accounting for lighting or better visibility of that.
And the glass appearing object underneath the casing, did you collect any of that specific glass right there?
I do not believe it.
Why not?
I think after discussing with the investigators, did not believe that it was in reference or pertaining to the case item.
Okay. Did it have any characteristics of auto glass?
Objection beyond the scope
If she knows.
of her expertise.
Thank you. First, establish that she may know something about this.
So, Investigator Curry, and part of your training in crime scene, is it determining what evidence may be something that would be collect?
Yes, it is.
In terms of the facts of the case, is that something that you're familiar with and you familiarize yourself with to know what types of evidence may exist?
Correct.
For glass and glassware, do you have any training in identifying potential sources of glass or other items that may be of evidence you're done?
Yes, I do.
With regards to the glass in the Jeep that was found at the hospital, had you had the opportunity to view that Jeep prior to November 21st of 2018?
Yes, I have.
The glass that was in the Jeep, was that consistent with the glass that is there in this photo marker number 1?
No, it was not.
Moving on to photo markers, and so for this is the establishing shot for which 4 photo markers?
4, 5, 6, and 7.
Okay. Going to the close-up of photo marker number 4. What was the important item of evidence in this photo?
Spent casing.
Okay. There's a scale on each photo marker. Why is that?
We're able to document the size of the specific item on the picture or that we're photographing.
And are all of these items later on collected?
Yes, they are.
Going on to photo marker number 5. I'm going to start with the item to the left here. What is that?
Spent casing.
Okay. Moving over to the right of photo marker number 5. What is that?
What?
Did you collect both of those 2 spent casings?
That is correct.
Okay. And in terms of another view of these two casings on number 5, is that what we're looking at here?
That is correct.
Moving on to photo marker number 6. What? I'm going to move into the closer up one for photo marker number 6. I'm going to start to the one to the left. What is that?
Spent casing.
Is that the same one that was next to photo marker number 5?
Not to my knowledge.
And to the right, photo marker number 6.
It's another spent casing.
After the shooting, or as the defense claims, drive-by shooting took place, surveillance video shows the moment where YNW Bortland arrives at Memorial Hospital Miramar with YNW Juvie and Sack Chaser in his car. The state's witnesses testified that Juvie and Sack Chaser were already dead by the time they arrived at the hospital. First responders testified the area was sealed off and treated as a crime scene.
All these marketing agency gurus want you to believe that the secret to...
I was so slow in muting that up just now. I have about 3 more minutes on this one.
So this is the sidewalk portion I was telling you about. Immediately on the bottom left corner of the
Where the
screen is
crime
white dashes.
scene
That's where
was,
the
no, I
cars
think
right
it's like
there.
a
The dashes revert, then to see
just
pedestrians
a
walking
country type
across
road
into the yard. Then there's a sidewalk portion, and these are the 2 doors of the ER. The left door on the left side of the video is the ER adult entrance, and the right is the pediatric entrance, but it's one big area. And then in the middle is the park bench. Right behind that glass is security desk. I'm sitting in the middle of both of those doors.
And that subject that we see in the video,
That's the gentleman that the clerk is making.
continuing to publish. Is this the?
I mean, that was
where you
believable the way
indicated
he
to us
hit that
earlier
note.
you had him sit down, Cortland Henry?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you can't see the Jeep in the video frame, is that correct?
Yes.
The Jeep would be located at the bottom left, my left of the
Yes.
screen?
Yes.
Okay. And I noticed that you approached and you were talking into something. What was that?
That's my patrol radio.
Okay. Was that your, how you were able to request assistance?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's additional surveillance video that puts Melly with both victims ahead of the shooting. But jurors also heard ballistic testimony from crime scene investigators who gave a visual representation of how the
but
bullets
that's pretty
traveled
much a
in the vehicle.
summary.
As you were saying, explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what are these green, red items that are now in the back seat of the Jeep?
These are called trajectory rods. Like I said, they are used to show the approximate path of the projectile when it struck the surface.
How many trajectory rods are in this photo that we're looking at here?
They are 7.
Going forward to the next photograph, what are we looking at here?
This is the opposite side of the rear passenger side seat, showing the trajectory rods coming through.
Same objection?
Yes, sir. Overruled.
Again, showing what?
Showing the trajectory rods coming through the back of the rear passenger seat and through to the front of the rear passenger side seat.
And can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how you place them?
The trajectory rods are placed through one defect, pass through the object, and then through the other defect on the opposite side.
YNW Melly's trial is just getting started, and the prosecution has already presented some pretty significant evidence. But will this be enough for the jury to find Melly guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? And how will Melly's defense argue this evidence? That's all we have for you on.
All right. I would have thought the hold on, y'all. I would have thought the statement though from Bortland would have been one of their critical pieces, right? But I guess not. Let's bring this up. So, couple things. I'm about to get into something because we played the audio from Juvie's dad. So I want to kind of bring that up of a couple things he said that I could find in the paperwork for those who may not have been here when I did it in February, and you may not be aware of what they were even talking about. Let me log into my other computer. And if you're just joining me, man, y'all already know this is day 3 of our breakdown of YNW's Melly's trial. Okay. And we're just going over what has been provided so far. We're really just getting started. I think we've been at this for about an hour. And, you know, we had to do our little 1, 2, 3s at the beginning, including breaking news on Blueface being arrested and of Boosie, right? However, Boosie paperwork or nothing has been released or confirmed other than what TMZ reported. So yeah, that's what we did. But now we're just about to start playing Clue. Y'all already know how we do. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend, to pull up, and get your jury numbers in the chat. I need to see who's all in attendance, or who do I need to put in a contempt of court. Contempt. I said attempt. Contempt of court. Anybody that has to go into contempt of court. Let me see what jurors are here tonight on the Truth Team. Y'all already know this is a real life trial. However, we are on the internet. We don't have nothing to do with the case. We don't know nobody involved. But we are just wanting to utilize what we're seeing and, you know, have a conversation amongst the team. My mama's ready. So I guess everybody AWOL because I don't see nobody putting their numbers in the chat. So I guess none of the jurors are here. I guess it's just me. Okay, I get it. I get it, people. Bring this up. This up. It should be coming. One moment. One momento. All right. So one of the things that Juvie's dad said, right, was in regards to like $200,000 or some type of payment for selling the name YNW. So here we go. Okay, hold on. About to go past this a little bit. All right, here we go. Go up a little bit. I guess let me just start at the top of the page so we can hear here. Okay, Bo, yes. Well, technically, he got violent. They wanted to revoke his bond last week. They just had the judge made him file it. Is he going to talk for me? I always be trying to go the easy way and it'll never work. All right. If it don't, I'll read it. Guess I'll be reading it. That's fine. That's fine. All right. So right here it says, by statute, it means he committed this crime to make money or have what you have. So this is one of the reasons also, for those who don't know, they were able to do the death penalty. It was key things they had to prove or have like evidence to support. And to make money is one of them, right? So it says here, while there was, through a search warrant through Facebook, as well as through Jonna Williams' testimony, which is the mother, right? There was money that was being was going to be awarded to Anthony Williams, aka Set Chaser. Mr. Williams was supposed to get $200,000, and that was in text messages, and also I believe in Facebook messages as well as the mother's testimony, and that money, like apparently, was never attained by Mr. Williams. So this is the transcript of the detective to Detective Maserati. I don't think it's Maserati, Maserati, the M one, right? The main one, the one that originally took the case. This is his actual deposition. So he is putting on record that this is proven through text messages and through Facebook, right? As far as the money that was supposed to be received. Now, it then go down to say, do you know who was going to allegedly pay that $200,000 to Mr. Williams? The detective answered, well, I believe it was going to come through the record label. Then it says, how it's paid out? That I don't know. The next question is, do you know if there's any evidence to indicate that our client gained any pecuniary gain as results of the death of Mr. Williams? Then it says, just reasonably speaking, if Mr. Williams was supposed to gain 200 and he didn't, so I guess that would be a $200,000 gain to Mr. Demons. Now that's crazy to jump to that. They asked why, how. Then the answer was, it's money he didn't have to pay out. Then that's money he gained. Then it says, how do you know he was to pay it out? Right, bro. I was over like, dang. Okay, at least it wasn't just me. Then it says, thereupon Raven Liberty Esquire into the deposition. Then it says, the witness said, I don't know. Then it's asked, so you're assuming that? And then the detective said, yes, sir. Then it's okay. Any other evidence other than that 200,000? The detective said, not to my knowledge, sir. Then it says, okay. So that is in the statement of the deposition of the main detective or the lead detective at the beginning of the case. Now, this is my thing, though, right? It says right there that they didn't have any, without a doubt, in stone evidence for this. However, it was conversations and text and Facebook and all that. Now, you hear how at one moment the detective says, oh, the money is being paid out through the record label. But at the same time, they're like, oh, Melly will gain because, that's basically 200,000 he keep in his pocket type thing. But how if it's not even coming from him? I don't get that part. Like, how would it, y'all get what I'm saying? Is it just me? Or am I reaching here? I just don't see how that's the same. All right, so next thing is here, you have to prove, right? And this is for the death penalty. You have to prove that the aggravator is the crime was especially heinous, atrocious, and cruel. Well, it depends on what's considered the label, to be honest. I think they may say it in this. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. Now here you go. This is what the detective is saying. Says that we allege that Melly, and y'all know I'm just gonna say the nicknames, through the assistance of Bortland, killed two of his closest friends, cold-blooded. Shot them in the head. So just to kill close childhood friends is extremely heinous and cold-blooded. Then it says, do you know any other evidence that indicate that? Then the answer is no. Other than the manner in which the murders. Why is this blurred? Exactly. Come on. All right. Transpire, no sir, no other evidence. Then it says the next one is showing that was committed in a cold, calculated, premeditated manner. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. Now this talks here about everything we went over yesterday. I kind of want to skip past that. I don't want to go down, do that again. Kind of want to see. I want to get into now how they're piecing together It's a Point to Melly, because, and we talked about it a little bit last night. It's like Portland name and like the evidence is pointing to him in so many ways. The only thing to me, right, and on my notes is, how does Melly say that he was not with his phone, right? Because the things against him so far is that his phone is seen in his hand when he leaves out of the building of the studio, right? So unlike YNW Portland, who stated he didn't have a phone, that cannot be argued here because we allegedly see Melly walk out with his phone, like he's actively on the phone, right? Next, right, would be, where does he go? Like, where does he go? We see him allegedly get into the vehicle. Where does he go, right? Because we know allegedly he's not in the car anymore because the phone of one of the deceased victims is moving one way and Melly is in another way, sending his location to Fredo Bang. So, like I said, I don't know. It's like, you know, I just don't see how he gonna get from under that. You're gonna have to come up with something real good for sure. But what part is a smoking gun? Okay, they talking about the gang part here. I'm not gonna go into that. I think I touched on it in the live in February. Y'all can go check that out, right? All right, let's see here. All right, let's talk about this real quick. Oh, so Bo, no, as of right now, we're just about to start really listening to day 3. I haven't heard the defense say that. However, I'm just speaking like, what other options is it? Or if I was on the jury, what would I want to know so that I can understand the whole story? And that would be one. If you're showing me videos of a video of someone getting in a car, right? Then you come back and say, well, he's not in a car at the hospital. Then it's like, yo, well, where did he go? I would want to know that, you know? You said you didn't know what you were talking about. I was talking about earlier. I'm reading up on Blueface and Boosie. Oh yeah, so yeah, this is about Melly. I only mentioned Blueface and Boosie because it was like breaking at that time, or like new, fresh, and a lot of people was hitting me up about it. All right, so let me read this part, and then we're gonna get into the actual court, and then I'll open up the panel too. All right, let's see here. Okay. This is about the phone. um yeah. So Bo, I don't know, was you still on the panel when we was doing public opinion court with the truth team? I don't know. It seemed like forever since you've been around. I don't know if you was around when we was doing that. Yeah, you pick your jury number because we're playing Clue. But yeah, just public opinion court. All right, if y'all see right here in line 14, it says Jameson Francois, right, who is track, met on February 28th, 2019. It says then the phone, YNW Melly's phone, was provided by track to law enforcement. And it says, do you know how long he had Melly's phone? Right? Then it says, probably since he was incarcerated. So Melly was arrested February, like the beginning of February, I think like the 4th or something like that. So at least for a couple weeks, Track had the phone. All right, now here we go. Then it says, basically, are you assuming that Track obtained the phone after Melly's arrest? And then the detective says no. Then it says, when you look at the messaging, you can tell Melly was using the phone, based upon, calling this person, talking to that person, text, messaging, videos. Then it says you could tell about the actions within the phone that it was being used by Melly. Then it says, well, it's being used by somebody, correct? And the answer is, I believe, based on what I observed, what I read, it was being used by Melly. So right now, if y'all remember, day 2. No, okay, let's start. Day 1, right? It is being put in open court that Freddie O'Bain received 2 messages from the phone that's allegedly Melly. Day 2, we were able to hear that Jamie King, aka YNW Melly's mom, actually confirmed the phone number that she spoke with Melly on to the police, right? So fast forward, now we have Track providing the phone to law enforcement, and they're able to read into whatever is on the hard drive or whatever of the phone and determine that it's a lot of evidence that it has to be Melly who has that phone. So again, y'all, I've been saying something with that phone is gonna have to be done. Both says the jury duty would be so easy to get out of. I would be like, I heard the song and read the news, LOL, even though the song, right? Because this was kind of boring, I ain't gonna lie, because like I've been skipping through. So I'm like, I probably would want to get out of it too. So let's get into some of this and then we'll be back at it. Oh my, y'all. I'm over here like, why I don't hear anything the whole time because I don't have my screen on this computer. It says wasn't about a little bit. So it is, you sure you wasn't around then? But we touched on that back in February. We can't without a doubt say that's what, but it's definitely referenced in the paperwork that could be it, if that makes sense. Shout out to Bo. All right, let's see here. What did I just do? All right, let's see. I still don't hear nothing. What is going on? Are they just not playing nothing? Hold on.
Good morning, are you Mr. Canadian? Good morning. Well, this is our way to stand. Come on up here. When you get there, what I'd like you to do is just remain standing for a bit. Raise your right hand and be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you should give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. Please state your full legal name for the record.
Nestor Hermida.
Please spell your first and last name for the court reporter.
NESTORHERMIDA.
Please have a seat.
Good night, stuck in the system.
So the microphone in front of you will adjust up or down, but not back and forth. All right?
Thanks, Your Honor.
Now, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you tell the members of the jury where you were employed back on October 26th of 2018?
I was the manager of Sunset Lakes Homeowner Association.
Okay, and what is that? Is that a residential or commercial property?
It was a residential property of 1,685.
Okay, and where is that located?
Miramar Road.
Can you tell us the cross streets and the areas?
Basically, you go through 40th Street, and this case, 186 Sunrise Avenue, and 40th.
Now I'm going to turn your attention to the 40th Street entrance specifically. During your employment with
What it do, Ned?
the association with the development, were you aware of the video surveillance camera system?
Yes.
And as property manager, do you have access to those cameras?
Yes.
And those cameras recorded the front entrance gate at the 40th Street location?
Yes.
And those cameras were actually stored within that security guard gate?
Yes.
How is that gate operated? Like, for instance, is there a live person? Is it automated?
A live person, 24/7.
Okay, so and a guard is essentially stationed at that gate.
Yes.
And how does one enter that development, specifically the 40th Street entrance?
Either by phone call to the residence or be on the list.
So essentially you have to be authorized to enter.
Yes.
And are there any requirements for identification or anything of the sort?
Your driver's license will be scanned.
And is that whether or not?
And the register tag will be also recorded.
Okay, and so, for instance, if I want to visit that location and I'm entering the 40th Street, I need to have permission and an identification card.
Yes, that's what I think. Driver's license.
As far as the video surveillance system, is it common that it was overwritten or, re-recorded over after a certain period of time?
It does.
Do you recall the time frame? Your Honor, showing defense counsel was been trademarked the state's WW, permission to approach the witness.
Yes, you may.
Can you take a look at state's WW for identification purposes only? Do you recognize this?
Yes, it's a pleasure.
Okay, have you had an opportunity to review the contract?
Yes, I did.
And does it contain the video surveillance from the aisles at Sunset Lakes apartment, specifically the 40th Street guard gate?
Yes, it does.
And based on your experience and your time there?
I'm sorry.
What page?
Can we approach?
Yeah, said yes.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No problem.
I don't know. That old girl got thick, okay?
And what is that? Is that a residential or commercial property?
It was a residential property of 1,685.
Okay, and where is that located?
Miramar Road.
Can you tell us the cross streets and the areas?
Basically, you go through 40th Street, and this case, 186 Sunrise Avenue, and 40th.
Now I'm going to turn your attention to the 40th Street entrance specifically. During your employment with the association or the development, were you aware of the video surveillance camera system?
Yes.
And as property manager, do you have access to those cameras?
Yes.
And those cameras recorded the front entrance gate at the 40th Street location?
Yes.
And those cameras were actually stored within that security guard gate?
Yes.
What it do, pretty?
How is that gate operated? Like, for instance, is there a live person? Is it automated?
A live person, 24/7.
And you should have
So,
your
and a guard is essentially stationed at that gate.
You turning up blue.
And how does one enter that development, specifically the 40th Street entrance?
Either by phone call to the residence or be on the list.
So essentially you have to be authorized to enter.
Yes.
And are there any requirements for identification or anything of the sort?
Your driver's license will be scanned.
And is that whether or not?
And the registered tag would be also recorded.
Okay. And so, for instance, if I want to visit that location and I'm entering the 48th Street, I need to have permission and an identification card.
Yes, that's what I did.
As far as the video surveillance system, is it common that it was overwritten or, re-recorded over after a certain period of time?
It does.
Do you recall the time frame? Your Honor, showing defense counsel was in pre-mark the state's WW, permission to approach Georgia.
Yes, you may.
What's up, big? Does it do?
Can you take a look at state's WW for identification purposes only? Do you recognize this?
Yes, it's a pleasure.
Okay, have you had an opportunity to review the contract?
Yes, I did.
And does it contain the
Hey,
video surveillance
a lot of
as it says at police department, specifically the 40th Street Guard?
Okay.
Yes, it does.
And based on your experience.
All right, y'all. If y'all think Melly is in green right now, meaning he got a chance to beat this, in your opinion, put a 1 in the chat. If you think that is over, right, and he's red, put a 2. So 1 if you think he's good to go, 2 if you think it's a no-go. Oh, hey, Marco. Oh, now I see the picture. Okay. Y'all put it in chat.
Experience and your time there.
I'm sorry.
What page?
The 2 came about 50-50. About 50-50.
Can we approach?
Yeah, then yes.
Oh, I
At the Milanopoulos Law Firm, our motto is
I don't know, Marco. I ain't gonna say it was that strong. So what we're looking at now is that second vehicle. Allegedly, right? That driver right there is the one that gave the false statement to the police, and then turned around and had to give another one clarifying that he was lying. Y'all still don't hear no sound? I mean, they really ain't doing them, making like little background noise. But Marco, he ain't admitted to it. Not directly, right? I guess it'll be dependent on, he said something in a video, but it wasn't per se saying, yeah.
Nothing further for this witness.
Thank you. Is there any questions on it?
one question. May I do it from here? Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell in that video how many people were in that vehicle that we just played?
So the driver, I can't see it.
So you don't know if there were 4 or 5 people in that car, correct? Thank you very much.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Is this witness excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. You may step down. You're excused. Counsel, for the
That
next
dude
witness.
can't get off that stand.
Mr. Bello, please.
You said, what is my view? I mean, right now, 50-50. It's a couple things I would like to see the defense speak on, for as far as my personal, right? Just reasonable doubt. It's the phone, the scenario to why he's not in the car when it gets to the hospital. So those are my 2 big things right there as far as Melly's concerned. I would like to see what their answers or what their defense is going to be on that.
If you remain standing for a bit, raise your right hand and be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your full legal name for the record.
My name is George Bello.
Please spell your first and last name for the court reporter.
It's JORGEBELLO.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Please proceed.
Thank you.
Bellow, that microphone will adjust up and down, but not back and forth.
Okay, no problem.
Mr. Commissioner, Your Honor?
You ready, you may proceed.
Okay, I gotta say this real quick. Yo, Marco, the witness on the stand made me think of Bo just now. Like if Bo had opportunity to go talk about, you know, his expertise, I could see him sitting there smiling and stuff already. Shout out to Bo, man.
Morning, doing well. How about yourself?
Very well, thank you for asking. Could you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury where you work?
I'm the crime lab unit manager in the Fireman Toolmark unit for Broward Sheriff's Office Crime Lab.
What does that mean?
Basically, it means that I examine known and unknown tool marks to determine whether or not they came from a common source, along with, of course, as a manager, I manage and maintain the standard operating procedures as well as training for any new members of the lab.
How long have you been the manager of the Broward Sheriff's Office Firearms and Toolmark section?
I've been the manager there for about 6.5.
He loves his job, okay?
Okay, so you talked about touring various gun manufacturers.
Yes.
Approximately how many times have you done that in the course of your employment?
All right. Okay, yeah, let's talk about it's about right. Yeah.
Authorizations are subjective in that they're designed and implemented by individual laboratories. So that's saying an authorization is saying you can do that test in that laboratory. So if you have an authorization, like I have an authorization for Broward Sheriff's Office, it doesn't mean that I can go to Chicago and do what I do in Chicago. If I'm certified, that means that I've met at least the base knowledge and practical knowledge to be able to do the examination as tested by an outside agency.
So, Mr. Bello, if you go and complete an armorer's course at 6 Hour, at Taurus, at Glock, are they certifying you that you are an expert in their firearms?
They're saying you're an armorer in their firearms. So once you complete an armorer's course, let's say for Glock, then they give you a certificate saying that you're a Glock armorer. That certificate is typically valid for anywhere between 3 and 5 years, depending on the manufacturer. But once that time lapses, then Glock will no longer consider you an armorer for their firearm. And at that point, you'd have to go back and take another armorer's course for Glock to then be updated with all of the information, get a new certificate, and then you would be a Glock armorer again.
Okay. And so, Mr. Bello, you talked about the Association of Firearms and Tool Marks Examiners. Mm-hmm. Are you certified by that organization?
I am.
How long have you been certified by them?
I believe I was first certified in 2015. A set of chambers, and that's where these live cartridges are loaded. And then upon firing, the firearm will cycle itself, rotating that cylinder, but the cartridges do not eject. Right, the cartridges in a revolver have to be manually ejected, so they don't typically leave fire casings at a crime scene. Whereas semi-automatic firearms will automatically extract and eject fire casing every time that you pull the trigger.
So your main approach?
Right.
I have a demonstrative fake firearm. You can be so kind as to double check and make sure I'm not.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, push it out of the.
Give your baby 2 times the DH.
So the ejector is typically placed in here, attached to the slide itself, or attached to the frame of the firearm, but protruding through the slide.
And so, Mr. Bell, if you'd be so kind as to resume your seat.
I know he's young, but he just saying, I don't know, it looks,
Yes, that would be
like he's young. But he should be like mid-20s, I think, now. But it seemed like, I hate to say it like that, he don't seem a little
Okay,
childish.
so still a lot of definitions. I want to make sure we understand. You talked about lands,
Yes.
LANDS. What is a land?
So a land inside of the barrel of a firearm is the raised area. So that's the actual area that's left inside of the firearm that impacts the projectiles. So that's the area that's going to leave those scratches that I showed you earlier. The opposing areas are the grooves. So in cutting methods, the grooves are the raised areas on the projectile, and they're the lower areas on the firearm. So these are the areas that typically are cut away by another tool inside of the barrel. Usually when we're looking at projectiles, examiners look at the land impressed areas, not as much the groove impressed areas, only because we have found some repetition in the groove areas from different manufacturing methods. And so in order to avoid any possible confusion as to whether or not it came from a particular firearm, we look at areas we know are individual, which are the land impressed areas.
So in that, you're just talking about the lands on the projectiles.
Correct.
Are there any lands and grooves on the casings?
No, there are no lands and grooves on casings.
Is there a database or some sort of literature that tells you which manufacturers use 7 lands or which use 3?
Yes, so the FBI years ago compiled a database that they call the other, as well as when one starts and finishes, and when and how they're oriented with each other. So those are the individual aspects of those marks. So you have a combination of both in the breach marks.
And so it's clear for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury when you're looking here, which is the firing pin impression.
So the firing pin impression is actually this mark right here. So it's in this particular case, it looks like a circular mark. What would be more characteristic is if this was more oblong, kind of like that. That would be characteristic of a Glock. But in this particular case, it's this circular or hemispherical shape in the middle of the primer.
And then the kind of little underneath, the little
Yeah,
hole
so
almost looking.
this little divot here is firing pin drag. So in short recoil operated firearms, which essentially just means that the firearm itself is operating using the force of the recoil. There is a locking mechanism and different manufacturers.
Yo. I can only imagine sitting in there for this because I'm over here like, what? I'm about to skip that right there.
Calibers involved, yes. So like a 357 and a 38, the reason they're interchangeable is because the bullet itself and the cartridge case itself are actually very, very similar. And the way that those firearms are manufactured, they're rimmed firearms, and so they don't chamber based on the cartridge itself, they chamber based on the rim. And so as long as you have a rim that's the same size, you can load a rim that's the same size and a projectile that's the same size. You can load anything into that firearm and it will shoot. When it comes to semi-automatic firearms, so that's really, that caliber is mainly a revolver caliber.
Okay.
When it comes to semi-automatic firearms, the function is much more complex than a revolver in design. And so most semi-automatic firearms will chamber based on the front of the cartridge. So this little space that's between the projectile itself and the cartridge is where the firearm will catch the cartridge and not let it keep going into the barrel itself. And so if there's any difference, so if this cartridge is too narrow for the firearm, it can slip through and fall right out of the barrel. If it's wide enough that it can catch that lip and not fall in, but not wide enough so that the whole chamber is supporting the cartridge itself, when it fires, what will happen is the body of the cartridge will actually expand to fill any space that was remaining inside that chamber. So when we get that cartridge into the laboratory, it won't be a smoothly, a kind of rounded.
Oh, don't I know, Marco? Remember, we definitely used to be debating. Oh, gun analysis is tiresome because I'm over here like nodding.
Somebody else's work, right? So I cannot say who put in this other information, that the information they put in is accurate. And so in order to say, well, I know what the information is, I need to have the physical evidence in front of me so that I can see the images and I can actually see the evidence under the microscope and know for a fact this exhibit came from.
I will say I do like him because he said, hey, I need to be able to look on the microscope myself. I'm not about to read nobody else's stuff, and y'all know that's what I be on, so I'm all for it. Okay, they went to break. Yeah, court is so long. Okay, let's see what they're doing right here. I see some movement. I mean, you know they said looks can be deceiving. Because I mean, I ain't about to sit here and say like you can tell people are murdering and stuff. But if you take all the tattoos off his face, I mean, he looked fragile. Now I ain't gonna say fragile. He just looked. I mean, he just looked like a little kid. But that just goes to show. I don't know what type of time he on, but just looking at him, the tattoos definitely ain't a. But other than the tattoos, you know. Oh, what was going on there? Mm-hmm. Dang, he still got color on the ends on his dreads? Sheesh.
Give you a variety
Mm-mm.
as opposed to a range. So a maximum.
I'm sorry, I can't see through that gun testimony. Especially, yeah. And I don't think Melly want to sit through it because he looked like he was asleep just now.
Items or the powder exiting the barrel, it's going to travel at its tightest distance from the hole.
Yo, Marco,
at the muzzle and start to expand slowly. So as it hits a target, we should see a circular impression on that target, as long as it was close enough to actually leave a pattern of powder on the target. Once it gets far enough away, usually somewhere in the ballpark of 3 to 5 feet.
Okay, I'm sorry. I probably that's a lot to listen to. And okay, maybe I understand now when people that's not really into like paperwork and all that listen to me because boy, I'm over here like, what the world? Oh, it had me stressed. I was like, I don't want to hear it. I'm mad.
That's a laser cartridge case. And that'll be the description for each of the cartridge cases, which is just the caliber, manufacturer, and whether or not it was fired or live.
Okay, so on item that your lab member assigned 13, that is the G115 identifier. Do you know where that came from?
I don't know where that came from.
Did you collect it?
No.
Do you ever go and collect projectile or casing evidence?
No, I don't.
Is that part of your job description?
No.
Do you go to any of the crime scenes?
On occasion, we can be called to come out to crime scenes if they're looking for some kind of possible explanation, but that would be a very, very rare case. More often than not, we stay at the lab and we just receive evidence that crime scene or a detective collected.
Okay, and where is the lab located?
It's on the first floor of this building.
So moving on to, again, item 13G115, what did you describe it as?
So item fragment, it could have the jacket peeled off, if it hit a car door, if it went through any kind of harder object. Most of these, all projectiles really, are intended to enter an object that's mainly liquid, right? So whether it's us, a deer, or any animal, the primary composition of us is liquid. So a part
on this, that you have to have the weapon and you have to have even the type of ammunition that was used. So basically he's saying, everything I told you, really the FBI doesn't even account for that because we're not following their guidelines. And so that's, less than, dramatic in terms of this jury saying, oh, wow, that's the smoking gun, no pun intended. But, a jury, before they would sentence somebody to death, or even find them guilty of first-degree murder, which is punishable by at least life in prison, they're going to want to be sure. And right now, this evidence isn't providing the kind of assurance that I'm sure jurors want.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, Judge Fernand Rucker, you've presided on a number of cases. We've been talking about that. Certainly, this witness seems to be very.
The manufacturers, right? It's not selling.
It's clear to see that Melly isn't as jovial as he was when Boosie's in the courtroom on both days. Like when he was on there in day one, when he came, he lit up, and day two, he was very sad in the opening parts, very restless, very temperamental at that. And then when Boosie walked in, he was excited, back to being the same jovial self he was on day one. But as of today, he's still restless, even more tired, yawning, stretching.
So wasn't that my description of? Oh Lord, Marco. You know what? Ask Bo. Bo is in Florida. I don't think they do love. I ain't sure.
Pacing back and forth with it and everything in that. And we're just gonna have to wait and see if Boosie shows up at lunch.
Let me just give you a follow-up to that. Does the jury react to when Boosie is there?
No, the jury does not react when Boosie walks into the courtroom.
Very, very interesting. And we'll talk a little bit.
Okay. This is probably gonna sound crazy, but isn't that oddly enough to hear them talking about Boosie when Boosie got locked up allegedly today too? So it's like, hope Melly ain't depending on that, because Boosie got his own stuff going on right now. But that's crazy to hear that. I think they do. I think Florida is lethal injections personally. South Carolina just got their option for firing squad. Why? I don't know why they voted that in, but they did. Oh my gosh. I see why this case is gonna be so long, because
This particular firearm leaves parallel line striations on fire casings, which means that the breech face was manufactured with some kind of broaching tool, and it has parallel lines that are on that firearm itself. And so any casing that's fired through them should be expected to have similar characteristics. And then once you line them up, you can see that the directionality and everything lines up on these cartridge cases from left to right or right to left. And that's what that orientation spacing between each of those lines is what makes it unique.
Okay. So going to Exhibit 4, that was the G196 on that. Did you analyze the caliber of that?
Yes.
And what was that?
It was a 40 Smith & Wesson.
What was the case material made of?
It was a brass material, so the casing body was brass, and the primer itself was brass as well.
What was the manufacturer?
It was Blazer.
And just to, in the interest of expediency, on exhibits, your exhibits 4, through 11. So G196 through G203, which are
And you would.
Oh, we got somebody new. Let's see what he talking about. Boy, Mr. Gunman.
You are James Morano.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. This is our witness stand over here. When you get there, you just remain standing for a bit. You put the same time. Remain standing. Raise your right hand and be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your full legal name for the record.
James Morano.
Please spell your first and last name for the court report.
JAMES.
Y'all still can't hear it?
Please have a seat.
I can hear it.
Morano, that microphone in front of you adjusts up or down, but does not move back and forth.
Thank you.
I had told them, Marco, you was a one password.
Good afternoon.
You here, Marco?
Good afternoon.
Can you introduce yourself to the members of the jury and tell them where you're employed?
My name is James Morano. I'm a senior crime laboratory analyst with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement in Orlando, Florida.
And how long have you been employed by the, we'll call it FDL, Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
20 years.
Okay. And in what capacity during those 20 years?
I've been a crime laboratory analyst in the trace material section in the Orlando laboratory.
And can you tell us your official title?
Senior crime laboratory analyst.
And can you briefly describe the nature of your work?
In the trace material section, we're tasked with recovering, recognizing, examining, and comparing items of trace materials or trace evidence. These are typically things like glass and paint, things that are broken during the commission of a crime or some incident, and they're submitted to our laboratory from police departments and sheriff's offices, and we're asked to compare them and to write a report about our findings.
So law enforcement agencies within the state of Florida can make submissions to the FDA.
Yes.
Specifically, like, can you tell us about your specialization in glass? How long have you done that?
I completed the glass training program within FTLE in 2008, and I've been working in cases in both paint and glass for about 14, almost 15 years.
And can you tell us about your formal education?
I have a Bachelor of Science degree in Forensic Science from the University of New Haven. I'm looking at the fractured characteristics, so I'll take the fragments and look at the side of it, and that would instruct me what kind of glass it is, as opposed to is it tempered or not tempered glass, things like that.
Oh, I hope I never get caught in jury duty, because listening, like, I get it, don't get me wrong, but oh my goodness, about the glass.
1 year, and then next year they can get their glasses from somewhere else.
I kind of feel like, right, because like analyzing glass is not my thing, I'm like, just tell me, did it get shot from the inside or the outside? Like, that's the only question I would have for temperate, not temperate. I don't want to hear that. Are they doing the glasses? Okay, bro. I'm like, what's wrong?
There's some apparent plant. So I found no difference between that. So my ultimate conclusion is that the two populations of glass from the scene, the light blue-green glass and the dark gray glass, were like the standards from the Jeep Compass, meaning they either came from that vehicle or they came from another source of glass having the same exact characteristics. That means it would have to have the same color, the same thickness, the same refractive index, as well as the same chemical composition. In my professional opinion, I find that latter possibility of it coming from another source somewhat unlikely.
Okay, and you mentioned the uniqueness of each thing. So for instance, that the glass that's in evidence as states 22 and 42, that they have the same.
No. Okay, day 3 a little boring. I ain't gonna lie. Day 3 is boring. I don't know. We might not need 6 hours a night because they're not. I mean, 8. I mean, like 6 to 8 hours of gun talk and glass talk. It's crazy. What is he looking at? Okay, Bo, that's what I'm saying. That's how you know, look, Bo, you know we are definitely into like the the simple questions, the when, the what, the why, because boy, listening to glass and imaginary guns, because you know they don't got the murder weapon. And I think that's what makes it harder to listen to gun testimony. Shoot. I just want to know, was they all the same from the same gun? You know what I'm saying? Because that witness alleges only one gun was found compared to the theory that's 2. We already watched 2. Oh, what's this?
Multiple bullet holes. And I started with the Jeep photographs first, and then with the driver to process him.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the photographs that you took on that day. I'm now approaching what has been previously shown to defense counsel and marked as states AAA for identification purposes. The photographs that are attached here. Now, you have had the opportunity to review those prior to coming into court today.
Yes, I did.
Do they fairly and accurately represent the photographs that you took on October 26th of 2018 at Memorial Miramar Hospital?
Yes, they do.
Here at this time, the state was requesting of states AAA in as a composite of photographs in USB and published to the jury.
Sure, any objection?
Subject to the standard representation with respect to the contents of the USB. No objection.
Making that representation, counsel, yes?
Yeah, yes again.
How many photographs are there?
So it's just one moment, Your Honor, and it's going to require me to do math, so please bear with me. There's 81 and 11, 92 photos in total.
Thank you, so it's a composite 92 photographs.
States AAA would be marked states.
Okay, starting with the initial Jeep
Bo and Marco, I
photograph.
see y'all ain't changed at all.
Can you explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury why you take a photo of a clipboard?
This is the first photograph I take for identification. It's the photo signing sheet, so it shows me the case number, like 2018, the month, and the actual case number, which is 06269, the type of case, was it sexual battery, was it burglary? In this case, it's a homicide, and then I write the address to show the location. And underneath you'll have the date and the time when I first started taking photos.
So the 0645, is that military time?
Yes, that's the time. It was 6:45 in the morning, but the time when I started taking the photos.
Ned, to be honest, I ain't gonna lie, Ned. I've been skipping through today. You already know my ADD, right? And actual like details of glass and all that ain't my cup of tea, girl. So my ADD definitely been kicking in and I've been over here dozing off everything. So I've been skipping through it for sure.
When you're looking here at this photograph, what view are we looking at of the hospital?
We're looking at an exterior photograph showing the emergency driver. And as you can see, it's being sealed off with a yellow barrier tape, the marked police vehicle. So that's the exterior with a photograph showing the actual emergency room driver. And the next photograph will show the overhang, which is a patient flopper. emergency.
And the screen in front of you is a touch screen, so if you can always touch it to highlight areas of the photograph. Yes. So if you could move the red cursor to the subject vehicle that you were there to initially document.
So it should be the vehicle.
Okay. Moving on to the next photograph.
The next photograph is the vehicle again. It's a dark gray Jeep Compass, which is called the Trail model.
And in terms of this little item up here in the top corner, do you know what that is?
Yes,
I'm
it's
still
the
last night.
surveillance security camera.
Well, this morning I didn't go to sleep till a couple hours this morning.
Moving on to the next photo. What are you showing here?
Well, that's photographs of the Jeep and the driver's door of the Jeep.
Okay.
We show the trail of the Jeep.
Okay.
We show the
Me too. Both.
On scene.
Me too.
yeah. I made contact with Detective Hector Bertrand.
Yeah, that's what we saw earlier.
It's a chemical reaction to the nitrate, so we suspect we'll give a positive.
This is a GSR.
So on here, there's kind of a reddish brown. Is that a positive identification?
Well, obviously, when you swipe somebody's hand for swipes, you can get grime, blood, and so forth. It's not blood, but other articles will attach to the swab. I couldn't see any real blue to me. I couldn't see it in the test.
I'm gonna say he couldn't just say no. I was like,
So going forward, did you have an occasion where you collected DNA swabs regarding the victims in this case? Were they given to your care, custody, and control?
I swear, yeah, I understand now. I understand what y'all talking about. Because now that I'm listening to something that I'm not interested in like that, to be that detailed, I'm over here like, just get to it. Now I understand. Well, the ones that's not into paperwork and be like, yo, Mickey, just what is it? And I be like, no, you got to wait until I go A to Z. I get y'all now. I understand.
Have a USB, and I will tell you again just a moment how many photographs.
He look like he been waiting all week for this.
$18 photographs, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counsel.
Oh, my feet. Y'all make sure y'all like and comment, subscribe, tell a friend to pull up, because your girl Mickey is not going to be on live for 6 hours tonight. I tell you that much.
Okay, going here, there's a number and a letter associated with this image. What does that tell you when you're looking at it?
Yeah, this is a photograph of the.
All right, pause. Okay, I think we're going to get into some stuff that we need for our discussion. Now we're getting into the clothing in more detail, because I think I was skipping through it earlier when we watched the short version of it.
The clothing, and I give it a new identification mark A.
Did you separate the shirt from the sweatshirt and document it further?
Correct. Sweatshirt and t-shirt together, and a blue container.
Okay. The item in now photo marker labeled B.
Yes, I've given the container B for identification, and it shows the cannabis.
Moving on to item that's labeled C. Is that what has been previously entered into evidence as the shirt?
Yes, this is the T-shirt I just shown the jury. And this is the front of the T-shirt.
Was there an item of interest on the front of the T-shirt?
Yeah, we have 2 small specks of blood on the front of the T-shirt. That's a close-up photograph to show small specks of blood.
Same close-up photograph of that?
Yes, that's close-up.
Moving on to the rear of that T-shirt.
This is the rear, and there's another small speck of blood on the rear. And that's very small.
And in terms of how do you know this is the rear versus the front?
It's like given the C for front, C for right, C front, C rear.
If Drew didn't film it,
and so did you then process and document the sweatshirt?
This is a sweatshirt, and these are the sneakers.
And one of the items that you put in was a swab of a blood stain from the sneakers. Is that indicated in the photo we're looking at here?
Yes, on the right at the bottom there of the sneaker, there's a very small blood stain.
Do y'all see how tiny that blood thing is?
And then the jewelry here that was given to you for processing by Officer Hadley.
That is correct. That is the jewelry.
Marco.
So that's gone through most of what you did on October 26th, 2018 so far. Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you do to prevent cross-contamination while you're analyzing items in the lab?
To prevent cross-contamination.
Did you collect any other items of evidence?
Not to my knowledge, no.
That was the clothing, though, of the driver, though.
In terms of the keys to the Jeep, were those present when you were doing these various search warrants?
Sorry, who was present?
The keys, the car keys.
Oh, the car keys.
Were
For the
they?
Jeep.
Yes. Were they provided?
Yes.
Nothing further at this time, Your Honor.
Counsel, thank you.
No.
There's cross-examination of this witness.
Yes, sir.
If you're ready, you may. Thank you.
Sir, how are you? Good. Thank you for being with us. Just have a few questions to clarify. You began, let me start where you finished, about this trajectory analysis. You said that the purpose of your trajectory analysis was to establish the approximate height of the chute.
Yes, that's what I said.
Would that be one reason? And the other would be to determine the flight path of the projectile in question.
That is correct.
Okay, so, may I, Your Honor?
Yes.
So, and you use string to do this?
Strings and rods.
Strings and rods. Okay, let's set the rods aside for a second. The strings that you use, the way that you use them is that you affix them to the bullet holes that you saw.
Correct. To try and affix a string, we use like a blue tack.
A piece of gum, essentially.
Okay. It's a good way to say it.
Right. So you took a piece of gum And if I may approach, let us assume, would you step around here and help me out? Let us assume, for example, that this witness stand is the vehicle. Okay. And you perceive there to be a bullet hole at this location. Okay. So demonstrate for me. I know we got the bullet. Okay.
I used to think maybe my calling was supposed to be a lawyer for sure, right? Right. But nah, I don't think that's what I'm supposed to be. Okay. Exactly. And they say he slumped over. Hold on, pause real quick, right? Because now that you said that, it's crazy because they are saying that when Juvie, who was in the back seat, allegedly, right, with the shooter, and we see him get in the back seat at the studio with Melly, they say he was shot in his cheek and then he fell over to his left. That's why all that blood is in the center console. So picture if whoever's sitting right there, right, as the shooter or whatever, basically a body slumps over to you. You know what I'm saying? And now the two deceased victims are in the same spot. So whoever's in that back seat during the shooting and after the shooting basically have a body almost on their lap. You know what I'm saying? And then they ride, man.
Correct. Thank you.
Sure, we have comment.
This is not funny, but I'm over here. Look, he's looking like I'm ready for whatever question you have for me. Come on now. I'm ready to answer.
Okay, may I? Yeah? I'd like to approach you, sir, and show you what I have marked as defendant's exhibits for identification purposes only, A and B. And I want you to tell me if those are both parts of reports that you offer.
I ain't gonna care how he looking at them papers. That's how I do it now.
I also want you to tell me, without revealing what the context is, if the items identified as Roman numeral 1 through 8 on Exhibit A is intended to convey information of the same nature as those that are labeled
what is he talking
1
about?
through 8 on Exhibit B. Not if they're the same thing, but if they're intended to convey information of the same nature.
So your question is?
So yeah.
Pause. I ain't gonna cap. In this moment, all I can think of is myself. Cause I swear, when it comes to like paperwork or some research, I feel like how he's about to answer this, right, will be like how I would answer. Cause the looking, y'all see how he's looking? Like, that's when you know you about to talk about some shit, you know. Like, you know, this your moment. You are about to lay it down like no other, okay? And if y'all ever have heard me talk about like a case that I know up and down, I swear that lean forward like he's ready. Like, tag me in, coach. I swear what it do, Tar, baby. I feel it. He's about to channel his Mickey Truth at this moment. I see it coming. I see it coming.
I want you to look at both.
Council, watch come sidebar, please.
See, the judge wasn't even ready, okay? Because he's about to say, yo, listen, okay? Next time nah. Yo, shout out to him. Cause I felt it. I'm like, yo, they about to ask him something that he know, like no other. Okay. No other. I appreciate that, Tar, baby. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to do my little thing over here, you know. But I am definitely blessed and I am appreciative everybody that be pulling up. But I swear I think this man about to answer this thing. Let's see what you say.
Did you look at that?
Yes, I did.
Am I reading correct? Sorry, strike that. When you were determining approximate heights of shooters, did you determine the approximate?
Okay, Marco. Yo, Marco. When I saw Chop, I was like, yo, what you talking about, Marco? What? Definitely, I agree with that. The truth is God's word for sure.
Approximate height of a shooter at 2 feet 8 inches tall.
No, what you're referring to on the report is not the height of a shooter. That is, the bullet holes on the passenger side of the door was the actual measurement from the ground up to each bullet hole. It's just to show the height.
Okay.
Nothing to do with bullet flight.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
And I can explain, as I'm trying to explain to the jury, you need 2 to 3 bullet holes through.
Yep, they go to make the truth. They go to make the
some
truth.
indication. If there's just one bullet hole, it's not, how can I say, there's no real forensic test to
Yo,
determine.
listen. Yo, in this moment, I'm about to tell y'all what I think just happened. In this moment, he gave his answer, right? Clear as day. Then he had to lock eyes with a juror that was looking confused. Cause like the lawyer was like, okay, cool. He's like, no, let me do. And that's how I be, I swear to God. If somebody sound confused or look confused, I'm like, yo, now let me give you another example. I tell you, he's channeling his inner Mickey True at this moment. He no juror left behind is okay.
Proper bullet flight path if you only have one hole.
Okay. So the indications 5'10", 5'3", 5'1", 4'10" are approximate heights.
Sustain. Sure. Flip side.
Okay. Bo, somebody, okay. He's like, no, you're number 3. You ain't getting it. Let me explain it to you. The driver don't go to trial to what, October or something like that. But yeah. Shout out to everybody, man, that got a passion, that know without a doubt they can talk they junk when it comes to providing information. Now, Bo, let me tell you, your doppelganger, right? You on here too. I'm gonna show you now. Oh, now I ain't gonna say this guy was me the whole time, but definitely at the end when they was asking him no questions, he channeled his inner Mickey. But Bo, I got to show you who you are, okay? I'm had to run a bit. Let's see how they about to end it, cause Bo. And it wasn't just me that said it. Marco said it too. I'm just letting you know. Because Marco got to go get the chopper. The chopper. Oh, I crashed myself up so bad. Ooh, I'm asleep like a baby, okay? Because I am sleepy.
The only reason and only time that you went inside is when you were sticking your gum and string on the seat.
He's anticipating every word.
The only time I really went inside that Jeep was when we had the search warrant.
Oh, yeah.
And I attached strings and blocks. Yes, that's correct.
Yo. Yo, did y'all check that? Simple. Look, the question was simple, clear. Yes or no? Y'all see how he went back like, so they asked, yo, did you ever go inside the vehicle? That would have been a yes or no. My older male version of Mickey Truth, right, said, you know what? I didn't go back inside. He should reiterate, added more words. Shout out to him, man. I think that's about it. I'm about to show Bo him though. Real quick. Hold on. You ready, Bo? Here you go.
Give you a variety of different materials.
Okay. Is there identifying marks on the
Bo,
headstand
you
of
see how you sit to the side?
cartridge casing?
Yeah, so depending on the manufacturer, they do have different head stamps that they use. Most of the manufacturers, especially American manufacturers, will use their name in some sort of or another. Some of them might be abbreviated. So Winchester, a lot of times will use the abbreviation.
Yeah, I gotta show you the part though. When I knew in this moment this was about to be you. Hold on. I saw when he Yo, if everybody asking like, who is this Bo and Marco Mickey talking about? If y'all have been with me for a while, Bo and Marco used to be my assistants. You know what I'm saying? They used to be my my right and my left hand people. Okay, y'all will hear. Y'all probably could. Matter of fact, y'all can still go listen to a lot of us going back and forth on my lives back in the day. Y'all will hear everybody like, where Bo? Before I got a new computer. Because my lives would never, I used to have technical issues all the time. Good times. All right, hold on. I got to show him. Then we're going to talk about it. Y'all just got to know why this is so funny to me when it comes to Bo.
Typically, it's going to be made of brass. That's the most common. Although nowadays you can find them in nickel. You can also find them in steel. And they have made them in copper, although they don't make them in copper anymore. But they have made them in copper in the past. So the composition of the cartridge case themselves can vary.
Yeah, Bo. That reminded me of you, man. Bo's so smart, right? And he be just like, man, sometimes he be forgetting, right? That although I definitely look, I ain't gonna say I ain't smart, but we be in different lanes, so he get to talk about all this doggone computer stuff. I be like, and then Bo be like, well, I mean, it's just simple. I be like, well, yes, you do go on tangents, okay? I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay. All right, y'all. All right. Where was I going with this? I'm gonna be honest, y'all. Today, I really don't have no notches on either side, right? Like, I'm looking at my paper. I got like one note on there, right? And that's just about the damage to the vehicle, which I'm about to pull up again. It's just the damage to the vehicle. That's it. I am sleepy, man. That was I know I'm not gonna be on here for 6 hours, but last night, we stayed on for about 6 hours. I got off, got on Clubhouse like I normally do to start winding down, and I end up talking with the late night 100 NT late night show. Shout out to everybody on the 100 side. And we got to talk about the Melly case. So boom, that turned into a couple hours. So then I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get off of Clubhouse and just get on YouTube and listen to like people like music talk, because I actually went to Music 101. And then there was some guy on there. Dang, what was his name? Shout out to Alabama, right? And y'all ever had a person that will say bye, but they keep talking? So that's what caught my attention. And I end up getting on the panel with Music and Iceberg. And next thing you know, it was 6 o'clock in the morning. So yes, Loud Pack, I am sleepy. But we're gonna get to it, okay? Because I said this gonna be all week. Now next week, I ain't doing it. We're gonna do weekly. But I got 2 more days to make it through, and we're gonna be good. All right, y'all. It was something I was about to do. Loud Pack. Was it this video? Thought it was this one. Oh, let me look at this because I kind of want to see if okay, both of here no. I ain't gonna be able to see it. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to see if this car is red. Okay, or not. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see it. Let's look at this one. Let's see. Cause I kind of feel like my same stuff is like my stance is still the same as far as those two things. I would like to know, if I was on the jury, when, where, and why, what I'm saying, did Melly get out that car? Because you can't just not answer that question because it's video showing him getting in the car. So it's like, come on, how did you get out? Let's see. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to see that. Shoot. Dang. And it's too dark down the street too. Yes. Now it was the co-defendant that had all the stories or whatnot. Dang, there's no way. I want to see if that car was wrecked. Probably like how I'm gonna see though, like I'm up here like, yo, I want to see it. Like I can just pinpoint what's going on with it. Let me think. Let me see it. All right, let's see what Portland got going on. Yes, I sidetracked. I was trying to see something. It's okay. I know everybody need a viral moment. Sneak dissing. Okay. Free Melly. Hold on, what? Why I say Free Melly in Portland? Portland ain't. No. Oh, you were not with your music. Free Trail, both of y'all on the way. Who is that? What in the? Okay. Mm. Mm. Y'all, I'm trying to see something real quick. Trying to see something. What they talking about? What they talking about? Is this a song? Dude is a rapper? So this is YNW Melly's manager thing. I guess he's a rapper now. Oh, I don't want to get hit. Dang. I want to hear it. I'm going to have to listen to it later on. Oh my gosh. So, I want to know what it said. Bo, go listen to the song and tell me what he talking about. Oh, he on this P. Diddy stuff. Okay. That's funny. All right, they ain't really talking about that. Okay, let's see. Like, I don't really have a lot to say about today's court case, or what evidence or stuff they provided, other than I would like to know if that car was wrecked prior to going to the studio. And that's the part I don't know. Cause that would be interesting to me to figure out, you know, could it be something else? I don't know. I don't know. So now I would wonder, like I said, if it's still the phone and it's still where he went. Like, I have no other way. Like, those are two things, right, that are bothering me about the reasonable doubt. Not just reasonable doubt as in, like, I definitely feel like it's still reasonable doubt, but to me, my mind, if I don't get those questions answered, I'm gonna probably be like, yeah, he's probably guilty. Cause why y'all hiding? You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm thinking about it. But how long we been on live? Oh, we only at 2.5 hours. Man, look, I could have sworn. Look, we was on here longer than that. It's cool though. Hold on, I'm about to look for something else. I don't really have much to say today about the case. Thought they was gonna have more, and I guess this is gonna be why it's gonna be drawn out like that. Because I would say today is a slow day. And yes, I did skip through a lot of stuff. So possibly, right? I could have missed something for sure, but I don't know, but possibly. He a little bit, but he is a good rapper. Look, my whole thing though. Matter of fact, that's what paperwork I'm supposed to be trying to find. So hold on. Because I remember we had talked about, oh, that's why. Okay, hold on. Hold on, y'all. Give me a minute. Because I'm over here trying to do 10,000 things. And that's why I keep doing something wrong. Yeah, because we about to look at something real quick. And then once we do that, I'm going to get up off here because I am tired. I ain't going to lie. at one point earlier, and I might need to listen back to see how I sound, right? Right, I agree too. I was over here, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I was literally talking, but my eyes was closed. And I was like I was just sitting over here like nodding off, and I know at some point I had to sound like I was drunk. Okay. Yeah, I'm sleepy. I am sleeping. I'm trying to look right now to see if I can do like find anything updated on Boosie. But yeah, y'all, I am sleepy as ever. I'm not even gonna cap. I'm over here trying to catch my train of thought to what I'm saying. And that might be partially why, you know what I'm saying? I was just so overhearing all that testimony about whatever they was talking about. Oh yeah, it's definitely wild right now. But yeah, I'm gonna check to see what I can see real quick. But yeah, y'all, I'm gonna get up off here because y'all not gonna talk about me tomorrow. Talking about, oh Mickey, you was slurring and all that because I feel myself dropping. Okay. And in the moment, I just feel like I'm gonna be like, okay, tired as ever. Okay, but look, I showed up, but I do wanna. I don't know what's going on though with this. Hold on. Okay, let me try something. But yeah, y'all. And then what's so crazy though, I'm sleepy, right? I'm gonna get up off of here, and then, Bo, what? Watch, and I ain't gonna be able to fall asleep still, but nevertheless, still gonna go live tomorrow. But yeah, your girl is sleepy. I ain't gonna lie. Okay, I finally got in my account. I guess I was sitting over here just, I don't know, not putting the right stuff in. So let me try it again. Let me try it again. This is Butterbird. Butterbird. Right. Okay, Bo know me. Ain't nothing changed, okay? I still be right there. I'll go to sleep though on Clubhouse, but yeah, I do. That's my wind down time. Who bothering me on my other phone? I wonder what I got going on. You know why? I done got a like 10 followers on Instagram. Normally when I get a cluster like that, it be oh my gosh, bro, not you. All right, y'all. So I was able to get in Pacer again. I don't see anything on Boosie, so I cannot provide an update on them because I don't know. I can't even confirm that indeed, you know, the feds got them, right? But you know, I definitely would say I utilize TMZ, but I don't see no documents yet, so I don't know. Maybe the U.S. Now I will say this, okay? I bet so, Bo. I will say this now. I wonder if it was actual the feds, right? That came and got him, or was it the U.S. Marshal? Although, yes, that's a federal agency, but you know the U.S. Marshal can come get you for a state case too. So I'm wondering which one is which. So I'm gonna leave that one alone for now because I do not know. Yeah, for Boosie. Both. So I do not know exactly if it's for sure he got like a federal case that he's on, or if the U.S. Marshals just got him for like something state. I don't know. I just looked on Pacer, nothing is on there. So for now, I'm just gonna tell y'all I'ma just check into it tomorrow, because I mean, ain't nothing else I can do. I even looked on TMZ to see if they had an update. They did not. And y'all, I'm just sleeping. So with that, only thing I can put on this live as far as no. Before I go sleep, see, I almost got off without doing what I was about to do before I got sidetracked thinking about some Boosie. Hold on, and then I'm gonna get off, okay? Because I want to say it tonight. So when we start back tomorrow, it's like, oh yeah, Mickey, I remember we just talked about that. Okay, so hold on, because I've been getting asked this question. If I were every myself, I love you, baby. Do not be talking about how I'm singing, okay? Y'all got new laws on there? What's the new law? I think I need to check. I think we had one that just got changed. I just don't know what it is. Oh, where is that lie? That lie. Not Bo talking about he ain't about to get caught lacking. Bo, you are silly. It says, "Hey, Mirror, in the front seat." Hold on, before I go into that, here we go. It says the video that the recording student show. We got that too, but I just gotta look into it. 8 or 9 individuals getting into 2 vehicles, following each other. Okay. Hey, dang, I'm still tripping off of the transcripts. Words or with Mr. Henry, indeed. All right, y'all. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to let this part of my old live play. Okay. This is gonna be my exit though. Okay, so I'm not gonna come back on the mic or on here, right? Instead of playing my outro, but this is where the documents were saying why they are not looking at Portland as the actual shooter. Okay, so I appreciate y'all. Y'all make sure y'all pull up tomorrow night. I will be rested. Okay, we're gonna get into day 4 of the Melly trial. I'm gonna leave y'all with the last 10 minutes of my live from February that talks about the documents that states why they're looking at Melly as the shooter, and then we'll pick up tomorrow. Shout out to Bo and Marco for pulling up. Shout out to the whole Truth team, all the 100 NT members that show love and put up tonight. And I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, but let's get back into the live. Any ill will is, if at all, between Sack, Anthony Williams, the front seat passenger, the person behind him, and the co-defendant who was seated in the back seat. The statements made somewhat clear the front seat passenger, Anthony Williams, was rather controlling, overpowering bully. They, from the standpoint of Bartland's attorney, it says something occurred in the vehicle that Mr. Williams was riding in that caused a rather rapid reaction, but not by Mr. Henry. It appears what occurred from all evidence is a spontaneous outburst. The state showed nothing, and there is absolutely nothing to suggest otherwise or to in any way implicate Cortland Henry in this shooting. The shooting, by all evidence, occurred from the rear left passenger seat. Mr. Henry was the driver. Then it says, while the state may have arguable accessory after the fact claim to present to a jury due to Mr. Henry driving to the hospital and perhaps, the statement that he made, dang, I'm still tripping off of the transcripts. Again, what's up, Jamal? Like, I can't say what's what. I can only go off of what we've read on this paperwork, but it's unfortunate that let's just say with the benefit of the doubt. If Melly is innocent, right? Just think about it. Everybody that he held dear to him basically put the freaking needle in his arm, okay? We have your right-hand man, which was Barton, right? Even though it may have been the agreement for him to give the initial statement, but all of his actions doesn't help you really. If anything, like his lawyer is saying on his part of the case, it sets the tone to set him up to just be like, I ain't did nothing but take the bodies to the hospital. I mean, I don't know what went on. I was ducking. So like it kind of cleared him to push off on everybody else. You get arrested first in Houston. You call Melly and start talking about if he got a warrant for the murders or whatever, right? Without saying murder, of course. What Melly got to you, we can't talk about it, Then you got allegedly your mom out here with some type of friction or relationship with who they are referring to the dominant person over you, or the bully, so they just said in a document. And she's out here, your mom, right, is out here possibly telling the police something that's good enough where they give her full immunity. Like I said, I don't know what she could have said. I don't know. But full immunity is definitely something to think about, right? And then next part is your manager. I've watched, matter of fact, hold on. Let me just play. I'm gonna play just part of it. Now we heard what they say about what the manager had to do with it, right? Let me play. Let me see. Audio. How long is that? Let me find a good one. Let's find a good one. Let's try this one. I'm trying to find the most recent ones, right?
It was on the 7th?
It was March 7th.
March 7th.
Correct.
There we go.
Right.
Which is in a couple of days from now.
Right.
So is that full steam ahead?
It was, but they actually just pushed it back to April 4th.
Okay.
So we went to April 4th only because still got to get a couple of things like clean, but it's definitely the same energy that I put out there. Like, yo, I better tighten up, that clock on. Instead of 2 months, right now it's 3 months, but it's definitely in a short time frame. We're going to trial. He ready. His team's confident. his legal team's defense. We confident as a family and a team. And it's time for him to take over. It's 3 years he's been gone. So
he's been sitting in jail for 3 years
in
now.
2 weeks.
Which is like, you're supposed to have a speedy trial.
Well,
there's certain laws in place.
He just put in for the speedy.
Oh, okay.
So he was just chilling, right? Like getting everything right. Then the pandemic hit. So COVID kind of restructured everybody plans. And then now, when he came back, we was ready. He felt confident to go to speedy.
Okay, because last I checked, the prosecutors were actually seeking the death penalty.
Right.
They felt that life in prison was not enough.
It was not enough. Yeah, they didn't take it off the table.
That's crazy.
Right. It shows how big God wanted this to be for him, because he like you heard of Tupac's situation, catching a you know what I'm saying, with the little rape charge, accused rape charge, whatever it was. And you heard of like different significant artists that went through certain things. And I guess this is just part of the story. God had to make it that way, like death penalty on the table, because he don't do a tie. It's not a draw. Because draw would be, all right, life in prison. It's win or go home physically. So
yeah, I mean, Boosie was facing the death penalty at one point. He was on death row.
I think they took it off, right? For Boosie? No?
Well, he beat it.
But was it still on where, like, if he lost, he would have had to got the death penalty?
I mean, he was sitting on death row.
Wow.
I mean, he was facing multiple murders.
Right.
So, and he was Louisiana. Let's not forget that.
And Boosie here with you, telling great stories every episode.
There you go.
And Melly gonna be here telling you great stories.
There you go, man. There you go. I mean, recently prosecutors, they submitted 66 pages of DNA evidence.
Right.
You heard about this?
Yeah. I mean, we it's not really submitted. It's reenacting everything that happened from the whole case, because they're going to trial and they're doing depositions and they got to put these things now physically.
All right. So that was one of the interviews with the manager. And I see he did a few interviews. That one was with Vlad. He did one with academics. He did one with No Jumper. The mom, same thing. Been doing plenty of interviews. But like we saw with the paperwork, let's just go back. So far, we have almost everybody in his circle who made statements. Shoot, the girlfriend at the time, her mom, his mom got full immunity. Whatever's going on with the 54 pages when it comes to Fredo Bang, I'm not really sure exactly. He said he ain't say nothing, but it's 54 pages of something, right? So whatever that is, you got the homeboy that was with him when they allegedly got rid of the guns, that basically filled in the blanks. Because remember, that was the guy that filled in the blanks, the holes that was missing. You got the manager and his girlfriend / maybe his wife that possibly could be, along with the mom, part of a potential criminal investigation. So my thing is this. Does the other two have full immunity? Because remember, the manager gave the prosecution YNW Melly's cell phone. I wonder if he said that on the interview. That's how they got the cell phone to get the video to say he allegedly told what he did. I don't know. This sounds a little iffy to me on the behalf of these people ain't really for you, like he may think they are. And I wonder, because like I had told y'all on my little short video, he doesn't have access to communication as far as on the phone and stuff. And it was an issue with him having access to his lawyers too. So I wonder, do he know what's going on? And y'all, the link is in the chat if y'all want to pull up, because this is a lot. Like, I'm kind of like against the wall on it, because all I'm going to say is that paper about the people that could possibly be part of criminal investigation was just filed this month. Mind you, YNW Melly's been in jail since 2019. I mean, could mean nothing, could mean a lot. That's all I'm gonna say with that. Now, I will say another thing I was telling y'all about was the denied for like healthcare. Something according to this paperwork, something is definitely like Melly has some type of medical condition, but they redacted it, so I don't know what it is, and they're keeping on a hush hush, and they still won't let them get bond or even get out to go to like a medical facility. But I will say, Cortland, Henry said he had asthma, and that was part of his paperwork as to why he should not be in jail, was because of his asthma. So I don't know. I feel like in this moment, in my opinion, everybody in the stat against Melly for sure. And I want to show y'all this. It clearly says right here, the request for emergency treatment is denied. Now, y'all know when it comes, like, you know, you do the crime, you do the time and all that, you know, but it's like technically he ain't been convicted yet. He has not guilty as his plea, right? We can't really say, oh yeah, you guilty, you guilty, you guilty. He's waiting. He's just sitting there waiting. And it's being denied treatment. Now, of course, I in the back of my mind be like, hold on, he done killed possibly killed two of his homeboys, you know, but our rules of nature, I guess, or our laws is supposed to be that certain things are supposed to be allowed when they're in jail. I mean, you know, no matter how we personally feel about when they go to jail, they're supposed to be able to get that type of stuff. So I just don't understand how the treatment is different for two suspects or co-defendants that's charged with the same crimes, but they're, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Am I reaching? Y'all get where I'm going with this? I just don't see it. It was